This is about a book that was about great scientists. I'm reading a book about great scientists, from Archimedes to Watson and Crick, and I've decided to say a bit about each of them in this gallery, as it were, some briefly, others at greater length. I've said that I'm not someone who supports the great men of history format, but there's no question that in the narrative of human history, it's studded with leading figures, whether they were great, that is, superior or geniuses, or not. And this is true in science as in all endeavors, from music to the military to industry to baseball. And one question that is continually explored in the book I'm reading is whether science advances through the efforts of extraordinary individuals, or if they had not performed as they did, someone else would have taken their place because the time was ripe and several other people were engaged in similar investigations. It is, of course, a speculative question that cannot be resolved with clear certainty, I don't think. Understanding that, I can begin with Archimedes. I know him for two things: the proclamation, "Give me a lever and I will move the world," and the exclamation, "Eureka," now the motto, by God, of the state of California. The other state motto I know is New Hampshire's "Live Free or Die." I think the motto of my state is "Fasten seatbelts." Anyway, Archimedes is supposed to have shouted "Eureka" in the bath when he noticed that his body was displacing water, and I think that the volume of his body was equal to the volume of the water it was displacing, and that got a rise out of Archimedes. What I didn't know about him was that he died at the hand of a soldier who stabbed him with his sword. The story is that the soldier came for him and called to him, and Archimedes, focused on his work as he ever was, did not respond. That frustrated the soldier until, exasperated, he killed the man in a final attempt to gain his attention. So Archimedes, from ancient times, is cast as really the first and most famous absent-minded professor. Another would turn out to be Pierre Curie. He liked to walk to work, thinking as he did. One day he stepped off the curb into the path of a horse cart. His skull was crushed and he died. The absent-minded professor is usually depicted in a comical way, but not in these two instances. Galileo was next. He was a powerhouse, and his specialty was experimentation. He measured everything. He put the workings of nature to the test. He rolled balls down inclined planes, and he might have even dropped them from the Tower of Pisa. And in doing so, he proved that two objects of different weight fell at the same speed. It didn't seem possible, but he could show it was true. He studied pendular motion, and he greatly improved the telescope, discovered planets and moons, and decided that Copernicus was right: the Earth revolved around the sun. That tidbit got him into trouble with the church, and he had to recant, even though he knew he was not wrong. Galileo knew there was a force of gravity, but it was Newton, who may well have seen the apple fall outside his window, who quantified the force, even though he did not know what it was or what caused it, and further declared that the force which caused the apple to fall also helped to convey the planets in their orbits. Gravity applied everywhere. Newton was considered astounding in his own time, and he was awarded every possible honor. But Leibniz developed his own calculus at the same time, and Newton also spent decades in the study of alchemy, the transmutation of elements, the quest to turn base metals into gold. He was perfectly serious about this folly, as serious as he was about the science of optics, and it is difficult to picture the one who developed the laws of motion and found the equation for the force of gravity and discovered many things about light. It's hard to picture him working diligently for many years with potions and tinctures at what was, at best, completely bogus science. To him, it was not. It was an investigation into nature with exciting potential and great possibilities. Unlike the Principia, however, which was essentially and almost miraculously correct, the venture into alchemy was completely misguided. Newton was like Babe Ruth. He could hit the long ball for sure, but he also struck out a lot.